Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? Welcome back to another one. Somebody recommended this video to me. Most dangerous kids reacting to life sentences, and the shit's sad. Just you know what I'm saying. Just the title alone, dangerous kids reacting to life sentences. Like that's crazy, man. I'm a grown man. I couldn't even imagine getting sentenced to life. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, somebody recommended this video, so I told them I'm gonna check it out. So why not check it out with y'all? Let's get into it.
At 16, you knew not to keep pounding your fist on that pillow with that little baby's head there. That little boy had to be terrified.
I didn't mean to kill Oscar. Ashley, I really didn't.
Face the judge.
I really think I did that. I didn't mean to hurt him.
A 14-year-old Philip Chisholm.
He is pure evil, and evil can never be rehabilitated.
You must imprison this killer for the rest of his life.
A ninth grader who's in court for murdering his 24-year-old school math teacher, Colleen Ritzer, on October 22, 2013. Colleen was known for her dedication to her students, and on that fateful day, she had asked Chisholm to stay after school for additional lessons. Little did she know that her kindness would lead to a horrific end. Chisholm came prepared with a knife, a change of clothes, and gloves. He followed her into a restroom where he took her life. His brutality didn't stop there. He robbed, assaulted, and abused her. Afterward, he disposed of her lifeless body by placing it in a garbage bin and dragging it behind the school. In a futile attempt to cover up his crimes, Chisholm went into town and used Ritzard's credit card to buy a movie ticket. However, he was traced down and arrested by the police the next morning. He still had Colleen's blood on his hands. While the magnitude of
Like, brother, like he already premeditated. Like he already had that shit playing from the jump. Like that shit crazy. Change the clothes, everything. Credit card, using the credit card to make it seem like it's somebody else. Like that shit wow. Look at your man's face, bro. Like he just don't give no fucks. Like no fucks at all.
Of Chisholm's crimes is daunting. His courtroom behavior will leave you in disbelief. Philip Chisholm faced multiple charges, including murder, aggravated rape, and armed robbery. Throughout the court proceedings, Chisholm displayed a shocking lack of remorse, even as the victim's father read his statement.
Killer knew exactly what he was doing and has never shown remorse.
His demeanor and actions demonstrated a complete disregard for the gravity of his crimes and the immeasurable pain he had inflicted on Colleen Ritzer's family, even in the face of a touching tribute by Colleen's brother.
Put this animal behind bars for the maximum possible sentence. Do not give this coward the opportunity to shatter another family's lives.
Chisholm remained cold and
He better than me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like somebody murdered my sister like that. I don't even know if I could just go to court and just read a letter. Like I ain't gonna lie, I'm probably gonna get on his ass. I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm going to jail too. Like for real. Like I don't know how they had it set up in the courtroom or whatever, but if I'm walking down the aisle, like you know what I'm saying, down the lane, where you got the prosecutor and the defense on opposite sides, where I gotta go in between them, which means he's either on my left or my right. Like, I don't think I could just walk past him on that level, like, for real, like, without stealing off. Like, they would have had to, like, literally escort me up there or took me all the way around on the opposite side from where he at to the point where even if I wanted to, I wasn't going to get there in time. Like, it ain't no way. Ain't no way.
and unrepentant. His attorneys claimed that he was mentally unstable, but that didn't work. In February 2016,
The court will impose the mandatory life sentence for the murder of Colleen Ritzer and set a parole eligibility date of 25 years, the highest level our law allows.
however, while Chisholm's reaction could certainly
Mentally unstable don't even make sense. He just don't give a fuck, bro. He just don't. He don't give no fucks.
be dismissed as an effect of a mental illness, the same can't be said for the case of 19-year-old Brandon Spencer, who allegedly started shooting at a crowded Halloween party on the campus of the University of Southern California in Los Angeles.
I'm sorry for what happened, Your Honor, but
All them females out there.
life in prison.
He in
Four
college,
individuals
living
were
his best
injured in the
life.
shooting.
Best life, and
Fortunately,
he
there
wanna
were
shoot
no
it up.
fatalities.
That if you are so intent on killing someone that you're willing to shoot them and at the same time open fire into a crowd.
Following the shooting,
Exactly.
Spencer was detained by the Los Angeles Police Department for questioning.
That's crazy.
A couple of days later, he was charged with 4 counts of attempted murder. The prosecution argued during the trial that the shooting was the result of an ongoing feud between Spencer and a rival gang member, noting that Spencer himself was a documented and well-known gang member.
I'm not a bad person, but I made mistakes. But I'm not just some gangbanger that she tried to portray me as.
Despite the horrifying nature of Spencer's offenses, his actions during the trial managed to shock everyone present. Throughout the trial, Spencer maintained his innocence, but the jury disagreed. Spencer also pleaded his case. The judge sentenced Brandon Spencer to 40 years to life in prison for the 4 counts of attempted murder.
40
When
years?
Spencer heard his sentence,
10 a
this
pop.
was his reaction. However, while Spencer's behavior raised eyebrows, it's nothing.
It's too late for that, man. And I'm gonna pause it right there real quick just to say this to my young boys out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell people this all the time. Like, you can't let your emotions get the best of you, because once you let them emotions get the best of you, it causes you to do something. I ain't necessarily saying no shit like that, but shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it'll cause you to do some shit where once you done did it, it ain't no taking it back. And a lot of people just black out, get on drugs to kind of, like, you know what I'm saying, cloud their better judgment. And some just can't handle the pressure, you know what I'm saying? Like, for him, he a gangbanger, rival gangbanger, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's no telling how he was feeling, like, if he felt like he didn't retaliate or do something. Now, granted, I ain't justifying shit. He should have never did it. That was just stupid. You know what I'm saying? All that shit just dumb. Regardless, like, bro, you in college, you still young, you're around all them beautiful girls and shit like that. Like, bro, like, get you an education, get you a nice girlfriend or whatever, party, this and that's up there, bro. Live a good life. But you want to take the streets into a college campus, bro. Like, that shit ain't smart. Now you regretting it. Now you saying that you're not a bad person, but bro, you didn't only try or shot the person that you was intending to shoot, bro. You shot into a crowd, so you didn't give a fuck about who you hit, bro. You know what I'm saying? And now you doing 10 a pop. 40 years? That's crazy. That's crazy. Your life gone at this point, like, you know what I'm saying? Possibly getting parole at 25 years? Nah. That's possible. I doubt it. That's 4, you know what I'm saying? That's 4 counts. You took out 4 people? That's wild, bro. Like, shit crazy, man. That's what I'm saying, bro. Control your emotions, man. Everybody, y'all control your emotions. Talk to somebody, damn it.
Nothing compared to the explosive actions of 15-year-old Conrad Schaefer during their trial.
This was a 15-year-old who was out semi-automatic rifle shooting
15.
up.
Schaefer shocked Osceola County when he and his friends began randomly shooting at the residence, resulting in the tragic death of 17-year-old David Guerrero, who was on his way to work. Before the shootings, Schaefer had persuaded his father to
15, I was
purchase a
still a virgin and
45
still
caliber
wanted to go to the
Hi-Point
NBA.
carbine and 100 rounds of ammunition.
I was not thinking
He
about
allegedly
shooting
took
nobody.
the gun from his house while his father was asleep, marking the beginning of the neighborhood's nightmare. Conrad Schaefer and 3 of his friends, David Damas, Victoria Rios, and Juan Muriel, terrorized the community for 2 weeks. They even invaded 22-year-old Eric Rupnarin's home and fatally shot him. During his trial, Schaefer had this to say to the families of the victims.
15 at a time, I'm really sorry for the things I've done. And I know I did wrong, and I know my apology don't mean nothing to you. And I know it ain't gonna change how you feel about me.
Families of Eric Rupnarin also seem to agree.
Eric was my grandson. He was my helper to me and my wife. At this time, my family and I had no intention to forgive the guilty because of such a heinous and brutal crime that was done to my grandson, Eric Rupnarin.
Schaefer eventually pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder, with over 22
already knew it was a
incidents
rap.
of gunfire
They
damaging
just kept
homes
it
and
real,
vehicles. He was sentenced to 2 consecutive life
I can't say that
sentences,
apology
with
was
the
genuine
judge
or not,
stating
but
that
I
if
can't
Schaefer
say
had been just
it wasn't
3
either,
years
you know what I'm
older,
saying? But-
he would have received the death penalty. However, Conrad Schaefer isn't alone in their courtroom actions. Let's not forget the infamous incident involving 15-year-old Martise Fuller, who's facing charges including murder in Kenosha County, Wisconsin.
I stopped in my doorway and I looked at him and I said, "Oh my God, Martise." I said, "Please, you don't have to do this." And he looked at me and he said, "Yes, I do."
Fuller broke into his ex-girlfriend's house with a handgun. He fatally shot his ex-girlfriend in her bedroom while she was listening to music. Her mother, who rushed to the scene upon hearing the gunshots, confronted the assailant and was shot twice, but survived. During the trial, he showed little emotion. Fuller pleaded not guilty, but the jury ultimately found him guilty on 3 counts.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree intentional homicide.
At his sentencing, Fuller, perhaps for the first time in the courtroom, displayed some emotion. However, he continued to assert his innocence and delivered a statement through his attorney expressing his apologies to the family.
Mr. Fuller's prepared a statement that he asked that I read on his behalf. Martise writes, "Wholeheartedly, I wanted to write this giving my sincerest apologies to this family I once shared time and love with. Truthfully, I am sorry about the pain you've all suffered through this, but more importantly, the loss of my ex-girlfriend Kaylee that I loved too. So I am sorry. Despite the hatred that is against me, I still am sorry. But I have to continue to stand innocent because I am. And I know that I've barely showed emotion throughout my time, but in all honesty, it is because it's hard to have tears left to cry knowing my mom lost a son, one of her children too. But I am sorry, and I hope you all can eventually see in your hearts and vision that I am not the person the media has made me out to be."
The judge, however, wasn't convinced that Fuller could do better in the future.
You are a very dangerous and a damaged human being. So in the interest of protecting the public, acknowledging the seriousness of these acts, the court orders that on count 1, you are sentenced to life in prison without eligibility for extended supervision.
Despite the gravity of his sentence, Fuller appeared largely unaffected. However, as we saw Fuller's unconcern with his sentence, it brings to mind the strikingly similar response of Jennifer Mee.
When I walked off, I was to the corner. I heard the first gunshot. After the first gunshot, I ran.
Bruh just had just a blank face, like his attorney had already tell him, family member, like, it's a wrap, like, you know what I'm saying? You might get the life sentence. Like he already had to be mentally prepared at that point, because I think when they showed him crying, they had to be early in the trial. You know what I'm saying? That last one, I think that was, you can tell he was already in there. He was suited up and everything. You know what I'm saying? He got the prison with the jail uniforms on and everything. Like, so by that time, I think he had already got comfortable. He already accepted that it was raps.
15, Jennifer Mee became popular as the Hiccup Girl due to her sudden bout of uncontrollable hiccups. She even appeared on shows and events. Eventually, she was cured. Satisfied, she needed the Due to her sudden bout of uncontrollable hiccups, she even appeared on shows and events. Eventually, she was cured, and her popularity ended. But Jennifer wasn't satisfied. She needed the fame, so she and her boyfriend, Lamont Newton, and another friend, Lauren Rayford, set up a robbery with victims she had met online. The trio lured a 22-year-old man to a vacant home where they robbed and fatally shot him, taking $50 as the reward. As if Jennifer's offenses weren't enough, her demeanor in court will leave you dumbfounded. 19 years old, she was arrested on charges of first-degree murder. During her trial, this recorded call she made to her mother while in detention was played for the jury.
Hello? Hi, Mama. Hello, Jennifer. What's going on?
I'm in jail.
Why are you in jail?
From murder in the first degree.
Who'd you kill?
I ain't killed nobody. It all went wrong, Mama.
Who are you trying to kill, Jennifer? nobody wasn't even supposed to happen like that, Mom.
Jennifer was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Jennifer's co-defendants, Rayford and Newton, were also sentenced to life imprisonment for their roles in the murder. However, when emotions run high in court, the actions of Jennifer Mee and Alyssa Bustamante leave us questioning sanity itself.
Was her throat cut? And Alyssa said yes. And that's when the grandmother broke down and began crying.
Alyssa Bustamante was a troubled 15-year-old girl who lived with her grandparents and siblings in St. Martins, Missouri. On October 21st, 2009, Bustamante lured her 9-year-old neighbor, Elizabeth Olton, into the woods behind her house. She strangled, stabbed, and slit the throat of the innocent girl, then buried her in a pre-dug grave.
I just wonder what it would be like just to kill someone. See the life just drain out of someone, I wonder.
She then went to a church dance as if nothing had happened. If you thought Bustamante's crimes were reprehensible, brace yourself for her shocking conduct during the proceedings. The police found Olton's body 2 days later after Bustamante confessed to the murder. She was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. She pleaded guilty to a reduced charge of second-degree murder in exchange for avoiding a trial and a possible life sentence without parole. At her sentencing hearing, Bustamante apologized to Olson's family and said she regretted her actions. However, the judge was not moved by her remorse and sentenced her to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 35 years. She will be eligible for release in 2054 when she will be 60 years old.
Sheesh.
However, let's compare the jaw-dropping reaction of Bustamante to the astonishing
Don't let me
behavior
out
of
at 60. I'm
19-year-old
already
Nicholas
accustomed to it.
Cruz.
It's a wrap.
My name is Nick, and I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. My goal is at least 20 people with an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds.
A gunman who carried out the deadliest high school shooting in U.S. history. Cruz killed 17 people and wounded 17 others at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, on February 14th, 2018.
Oh my God!
He used a semi-automatic rifle that he had legally purchased a year earlier.
I came out and asked him, what are you going to do with the rifle? And the reply was, I go shooting with my friends on the weekends. I just want my own stuff.
Despite the horrifying nature of Cruz's offenses, his actions during sentencing managed to shock everyone present. Cruz was arrested and charged with 17 counts of premeditated first-degree murder and 17 counts of attempted first-degree murder. He pleaded guilty to all the charges, admitting his responsibility for the massacre.
What's going on today, bro?
The demons, man.
Demons?
Voices.
Voices and demons?
Where's the voices? Where the f am I? Holy what happened?
Shut up.
The jury could not reach a unanimous verdict on whether to recommend the death penalty for Cruz. As a result, he was automatically sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for each of the 17 murders, as required by Florida law. He was also sentenced to an additional 34 life sentences for the attempted murders. At his
34 life sentences is crazy. Crazy, bro. I mean, you can't judge a book by its cover because, I mean, I don't like he gonna make it in prison. But, I mean, shit, like, once again, you can't judge a book by its cover because he don't like the type that shoot up a school either. And, like, he knew it was up. I mean, recorded it and everything. That's crazy.
Sentencing, Cruz attempted an apology.
I am very sorry for what I did, and I have to live with it every day. And that if I were to get a second chance, I will do everything in my power to try to help others. And I am doing this for you, and I do not care if you do not believe me. And I love you, and I know you don't believe me, but I have to live with this every day.
Cruz showed no remorse or empathy for his actions and instead wore a red prison jumpsuit, glasses, and a mask. He even laughed at one point during the proceedings. Cruz's lack of emotion and his escape from the death penalty outraged and disappointed many of the victims' relatives who had hoped for a different outcome. However, while it was clear that Cruz didn't care about the years he was going to spend in jail, his behavior in court was very different to that of 19-year-old Keandra Cook, a high school student who used a dating app to set up a robbery scheme with her boyfriend, Kendrick Bass. Cook lured Perry Nida, a Palm Coast man, to a secluded spot in South Daytona, where Bass and others attacked him and his friend, Emmanuel Purcell, who had accompanied him. Bass shot Purcell in the chest, but luckily he survived. However, what Cook did in the courtroom was even crazier. Cook was arrested and charged with principal to carjack.
I got so frustrated with ads on YouTube, I was watching more commercials than content. Privacy
Attacking with a deadly weapon and principal to aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
Guilty of all 3 charges, sentence you to 20 years in state prison.
Cook was later allowed to withdraw her plea and cooperate with the state to testify against Bass, who was also charged with attempted murder. She entered a new plea deal and received a reduced sentence of 11 years in prison and 20 years of probation.
You got good in you, and I think you got potential. Don't lose sight of that.
She apologized to the victims and their families.
I just want to say that I'm sorry for anything wrong that person had been shot, that I didn't even do you get shot. My boyfriend and his friends get me to do this.
However, this wasn't the only time a convict freaked out during their sentencing. Take, for example, the case of 18-year-old Donta Wright, a teenager who was involved in the murder of Jordan Klee, a high school student and athlete in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Wright and 2 other youths planned to rob Klee of his drugs, clothes, and shoes, but Klee fought back. Wright then shot him in the back of the head, killing him instantly. Just when you thought Wright couldn't sink any lower, his behavior in the courtroom will leave you stunned. Wright was arrested and charged with felony murder, armed robbery, conspiracy to commit armed robbery, and felony firearm possession. The family of the victim read a very emotional victim impact statement. But this is how serious Wright felt about their pain.
Sincerely hope that whatever it was you wanted so badly that you felt the need to murder my son was worth the next at least 52 years of your continued existence. You won't get the luxury of raising your child because you took mine away.
When he was called to address the court, Wright shocked everyone.
I'll tell y'all, I'll be home soon, or I'll be Keon. I love my family.
That's all you got to say.
Wright showed no remorse or empathy for his actions. His attitude in court shocked and angered the judge and the victim's family. The judge reserved some choice words for him.
That's wild.
I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial. And if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do.
Wright was eventually sentenced to 25 to 52 years in prison for his role in the murder.
He told me to hit her. I didn't want to, but I wanted him hitting me, so I hit her.
That's crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's crazy to think that you know what I'm saying, these kids, 14, 15, 16, 19 years old, has that kind of anger and hate in their heart at such an early age. Shit crazy, though. And it's like, I wouldn't even know where to begin to even think how would they process to do the things that they doing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this shit premeditated. Like a lot of these, they planned it. Old girl talking about she just wanted to see how it would look and how it would feel to kill somebody. See blood coming out. Like, that shit is crazy. A dude, recorded himself talking about he about to be the next school shooter. Like, that shit was, like, it's glorified. And that's crazy to say, because there are people in the world that glorify that shit. You know what I'm saying? But for it to be that big of an influence where you willing to literally throw your life away is crazy. And I think he got 36 life sentences or something like that. It's crazy, man. But we're gonna end it right here. We're actually gonna pick it up again for another episode. This episode is pretty long, you know, already. And this video is too, so we're gonna end it right here, man. I appreciate y'all watching. Drop in the comments which one y'all think so far had the craziest case out of all of them. And also drop in below any videos that y'all want me to react to, that y'all want me to watch. Peace. Be smooth.